Entering the Pat Mayo Experience.
Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings. Super Bowl 56 pick against the spread props preview, a Cust Corner mini, and all things NFL to get you ready for the big game. I can say Super Bowl on here. I don't need to call it the big game because DraftKings is an official partner of Super Bowl 56 according to ad reads that they send me. Either way, smash the like button for the episode, sub to Mayo Media Network. If you hit up the newsletter this week, not only will there be golf bets, there'll be a bunch of Super Bowl props in there and the logic behind them. If you want to go check that out, it's free to join down in the description and in the comment section. Please give me the score of the game. That's all we really care about this week. Who's going to win with a score? Who's going to lose with a score? And then we'll be on our way. Remember to rate and review on Apple Podcasts. 5 stars. Do that same rating on Spotify. You can't leave a review, but you can do the rating. That takes less than 5 seconds. So help us out because, Geoff Fienberg, this is the season finale of the Spread Pick Show.
Oh, that's sad.
It's been a grind. It's been like 24 straight weeks. I like
football season's been exhausting. It's been exhausting.
I like doing the show. Don't get me wrong. So I guess I should run it by everyone. I guess that Paul's out there. The coin is right here, and on the line right now is Tim Undercust.
Tim Undercust.
Not my name.
Maybe we reconvene in 2 weeks' time to maybe recap our win totals, that kind of thing, like a kind of a the denouement of the season, as we could do. And, there's 1 week left in the Custy Awards by that time because voting closes on February 28th. That means you can still go vote down in the description. The link is right down there. And next week on the show, we have a panel discussing each of the Custy Award categories this year. A special panel. They got flown into Zoom. We did the show. That'll come out next Wednesday or Thursday, I believe. So be on the lookout for that. It's a fun one. Kenny Kim is hot fire in that episode, if you need to know. So tune into that. But let's talk about the game. We're here. We got some props for you a little bit later on. But Tim Undercust, who is going to win this game?
So my initial lean hasn't changed. The more I thought about it all week, the more I rather like the Rams quite a bit. I think the Rams just are able to exploit the significant weaknesses the Bengals have on the back end. Outside of Bates, that is a secondary that has a lot of trouble. I expect the Rams to take advantage of it. I think that Stafford plays really well. And I just think the stage is just a little too big for the Cincinnati team. As good as they've been, as overachieving as they have been, and I think I've been picking against them every week in the playoffs, and I've been wrong, obviously, every single week in the playoffs. We get to the Super Bowl here. I just feel like this is going to be an old school Super Bowl in the fact that the NFC is going to dominate, and it's going to be rather lopsided. I really like the Rams here to take care of business at home.
So the spread in the game right now at DraftKings Sportsbook is -4.5 Rams, 48.5 is the over-under. So what would you say your final score was for this game, Tim?
The Rams 30, the Bengals 14.
Oh, so you have a blowout here. Okay.
Well, 16 points. I don't know if I call that a blowout, but I think it's a significant win for the NFC. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a particularly close game.
They more than double their score in your projections. So I'd say that's probably a blowout. It's not like the score was 6-3. 30-14 is pretty significant.
You're right.
Geoff, I am not going to bet on this game in terms of win and lose. I don't know. And frankly, I don't really care, to tell you the truth, which is a weird thing to say about the Super Bowl. I don't really, the only rooting interest I have in this game is that I like Joe Burrow. I hope Cincinnati wins. So I'm going to pick Cincinnati 24, the LA Rams 20. The one lean I have in this game is that I really like the under. So far with both of our picks and both of our scores, Tim, we both have the under of 48.5 coming in. I feel like unders are the play in the Super Bowl. Everyone wants to bet the over because it is no fun to bet the under, but I don't know how this is going to go. Like, that's just sort of me throwing out a score. I hope Cincinnati wins. Maybe you want to sprinkle on the Cincinnati money line, maybe, but it is the under, Geoff, that I like the best in this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't, that wouldn't bother me at all. At the moment, I lean with Tim and a Rams victory. I don't feel the blowout. I'm less confident in that than I was a week ago. And I think the line might reflect that because I thought we saw it sort of flirt up and some, thinking it could maybe get to 5, but it never got there. And if anything, it feels like it's going to come to 4. I am just buying into the fact. Listen, the Bengals are a team. I was on them in the AFC Championship game, but I'm just buying into the totality of a lot of things. You have to pick a lane. I'm picking a lane. The lane that I am picking is I see this game playing out closer to Bengals Titans. If this game, I want to say, was like week 12 and I had 15 games to pick from, don't know that I would bet it. Certainly wouldn't be a super lock, but it is the Super Bowl, and I don't have Mayo's discipline. And I'm not like the biggest prop throb out there. So I do like betting the game hard. And historically, I've had great luck at the Waste Management Open in Phoenix, and I just blow all my money on a losing side in the Super Bowl. But the lane I am picking for the how I feel the game plays out is sort of like the Titans-Bengals game minus insane interceptions. So I do think in some ways the Rams can overwhelm them on defense, and I am picking the Rams to win this football game. And for their sake, they better win this football game, because I don't know how you could, like, this is your home stadium. And yeah, that's like easy to say. So what? They lose the game. Like anytime a team plays in the Super Bowl, loses the Super Bowl neutral site, and has to go back to that stadium, whether it be the next year, 4 years later, to play that host team, it's forever in your mind. It would be like looking at your wife that cheated on you and taking her back every time Aaron Donald or Sean McVay pulled into SoFi. Like, that's so there. Yeah. So it is a forever game for this Rams team. No one's losing their job. And there's a lot of more vibe of the Bengals on a free roll, which I could agree with. And the pressure is clearly on the Rams bigly, but it is a forever Super Bowl's a forever game. Yeah, I get it. But I just mean like it like psyche wise, the Rams cannot watch confetti drop on their field, the field that they got to drive home to for the rest of their lives. It would just mentally be a mind fuck forever.
Maybe they're not all mental midgets like you are.
And this is why Geoff really hates Miami, because of course that's where the Chargers got obliterated, was at Pro Player Stadium.
I'm wearing that jacket right now, and no, that place, I mean, it's so renovated. I didn't even.
And back when things made sense, as you tweeted today, when there were real Super Bowl logos.
Back when things made sense in the world. It is right. And you used to get like crazy, stupid, ugly garb like this, but you matched up the Super Bowl logo, sunshine, Miami. It represented Miami, and you put a little flair into it before all the fancy stuff they get to wear. I still picture Seau popping out of this jacket. No, my hate for the Dolphins was born before that. It was born.
I know. I'm just teasing.
Before that. But it's true. That's forever a place. And the Chargers only have to go there once every 4 years. And now it's had 6 new names and looks like an entirely different person.
What's great about this Super Bowl and every West Coast Super Bowl is that some of the game gets played in the day. And that's awesome. It's so nice to watch a Super Bowl being played in sunshine rather than at night for the most part. So it is really cool when they go out west for this. And this is a no way. Like, the Rams, I prefer the Bengals to win. And the Rams. So would I. Then the Jets would have.
I'm just a tenant, but I don't want to see a banner up. And I'd like to put the first banner up in that place. So I prefer the Bengals win. And I got no ill will. People trying to make this thing about I shouldn't like Herbert or I shouldn't like Burrow. No. Burrow's like a golden child, MVP. I mean, national champion, Heisman. This all makes sense. The only negative words that I ever would have come out of my mouth about Joe Burrow would have been in me saying, I think there's value in Herbert to win Rookie of the Year never even thinking Burrow would get hurt, but we could get to the awards and it could be close to a pick 'em. So take this really big number. Those would have been the only negatives out of my mouth ever about Joe Burrow. I hated Eli Manning because he was number one and he played with like he fucked us. And that's a real thing. And he got 2 Super Bowls and I got nothing. Don't think he would have won them with the Chargers. But the animosity I had towards Eli, like, doesn't exist. Like, Joe Burrow was never a Charger. Joe Burrow was super cool. And as a Charger fan, I like seeing like the Lion. If the Lions could ever do great, I'd feel the same for them. Like, this is the Bengals. I want them, like, they're a kindred spirit. We're like league losers. So I got no ill will towards the Bengals. Would love to see Joe Burrow, if he does happen to win this game. Was thrilled they beat the Chiefs because I'm happy we don't have to see them this week.
I was shocked after last week's show when you were talking about how soft Kansas City Chiefs fans were on Twitter coming at you. Like, you've had a ton of success. Why don't you like live with the success just a little bit before getting your backs up against the wall? And a lot of Chiefs fans agreed with you. I was stunned by that.
Yeah, I guess there are some. Yeah, I don't know. They got really. They saw what I saw. They saw sort of what part of their fan base had become. And like, you have to realize, like, I'm a loser, lonely Charger fan. Like, I'm enjoying a division rival not going to a 3rd Super Bowl in 3 years and seeing a new blood get there. Like, allow me to have this 1 minute of Schadenfreude while I go back to being a Charger fan. But yeah, that was nice to see. And like, most of them were pretty normal, like Hustler and a couple of the other ones, but a lot of them didn't like any talking down. And I just want to say to them, you haven't even had twins, let alone triplets. And apparently now the child support is due. Like, the bills are going to add up now. Things are going on the books in Kansas City that weren't on the books before in Kansas City. So they're going to have to start paying. And things could be a little different. But Mahomes still the best. And I don't deny that.
Vote for Geoff.
Why?
It seemed like the last 6 or 7 minutes was basically an in-kind contribution to the Vote for Geoff campaign, between the comparison to cheating on one's spouse and the bills coming due for child support analogies. Just seemed like that was all just a bunch of crazy talk. Vote for Geoff.
I mean, I followed along with that perfectly. I thought that was a pretty good analogy.
Vote for
And I
Geoff.
want to say, you want to get I'm in this zone right now. Do not cut this. But I'm in this zone right now where a couple of my wife's closest friends are in like some rocky patches and likely facing, like, potential separation. And it just makes me like seem so much better. I don't know how to explain it, but anytime, like, if you can get your wife to hang out with friends who are in horrible marriages, it comes back like tenfold positive for you. Trust me. That's my Valentine's Day guy tip.
That's your tip.
How is that a tip? How do you act in that advice?
Make friends with people who you know are gonna get divorced. It's easy.
Not even that, but like, and here's whatever. Some guys are real pieces of shit, but it just makes like a normal like me, despite the insane claims, or maybe even an insane guy like me, seem way more normal and good when they're hanging out with people in like bad situations.
I don't want to give you.
That Geoff guy's great. He spends all day watching the Olympics, waiting for a kidnapping to take place or an international incident. That's what
I've watched no Olympics.
Yeah, you and
the
rest of the world haven't watched the Olympics.
Yeah, how about that?
I did, like, aren't they on in the middle of the night? Like, that has to have. I mean, there's a bunch of different factors at play with the Olympics. Why no one is watching?
They were in Pyeongchang too, in the middle of the night, 4 years ago. Made no difference. People still watched.
Did they?
Yeah, they're like 43. The NBC's ratings are down 43%.
I wonder how much of that is because you can stream it live on Peacock now as well. I wonder if they're factoring that in.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Although
there's a lot of like just sentiment around people have completely just shut out these games from their psyche. I feel
I can understand it.
I feel like there was no advertising for it. They had started. I did a show the day after. I didn't even know they had started yet.
It's true.
I was so off put. Like Olympics, NBC is doing collab Olympic commercials with Jurassic Park the movie.
Ooh.
I mean, how low rung have they become?
Well, they probably got a pretty penny for that Jurassic Park tie-in.
I have no doubts, and I guess they got to chase everything they can as this, whatever it is going on. The NBA Finals has been attached to a movie forever.
Has it?
So remember, like 47 Hancock commercials in one quarter.
I liked Hancock.
Nonetheless, I don't know. For the Olympics, like that just seemed really weird. Really weird.
I feel like the Winter Olympics should always be brought to you by Miracle, the movie. Go rent it right now. That'd be fine.
Love that movie.
NBC should just go buy the rights to
Or
that.
Cool Runnings. Cool Runnings is a better Winter Olympic movie than Miracle.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I am sure about that.
When was the
It's
last
got
time?
John Candy.
When was the last time you saw Cool Runnings?
It's been a long time,
Yeah,
but it's got John Candy.
Yeah, it's not good. It's one of those movies.
Neither is Miracle.
Miracle's
Kurt
fine.
Russell.
Miracle is
Kurt
fine.
Russell's fake Minnesota accent is not all that. As someone who does impressions, I will say that his impression of a Minnesotan is not very convincing.
Can we hear your impression of someone from Minnesota?
Oh yeah, sure. I can do Minnesota accents. That's
It's
not
Fargo.
a problem.
That is the same accent that you do for a friend from Iran. You know that, right?
No, it isn't.
It is. Artie, if you're
No.
watching, that's his voice for you. You know it.
I'm doing an impersonation of your impersonation.
What?
Anyway, I think that the Herb Brooks impersonation or portrayal by Kirk Russell is anything but convincing.
Wow, didn't realize you were so down on Miracle. Miracle for
I am down on Miracle.
sports movies.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
Great. I like it. I like it a lot.
Eh,
All right, well,
I like good movies. That's where we differ, I guess.
is it like Cool Runnings.
That's a good movie.
It's not a good movie.
Okay, well, that's what you think.
No,
I think
it is
different.
objectively not a good movie.
Oh,
You
objectively.
just
Objectively
claimed you haven't
different.
seen it in 30 fucking years.
I'd be curious which one had a higher cinema score.
Did he even have
I
cinema
could
score in
see
the
that
early
Cool
90s?
Runnings.
I don't know.
I could see Cool Runnings not rewatching very well, but like Tim, I saw it 30 years ago, and I'm just gonna hold on.
Well,
to
look,
that
if you
vibe.
rewatch Cool Runnings and it's not very good, then it's just like Miracle. Then
Jeez.
that they're both not very good. Then
Didn't
fine.
Didn't realize you had this stream of anti-Americanism in you.
I just don't think it's well done. Sorry.
I mean, it's incredibly well done. It probably has the best hockey scenes of any movie ever.
Okay. I guess I have to. Sorry, I guess I have to pretend.
Okay,
now
no. So
that
no,
this movie,
no.
which is very
No.
subpar,
You just
should have
said
won the
you
Academy
just. No
Award
one said that.
in every category.
Shut the fuck up and listen to me. What movie has better hockey scenes?
I don't know. I would say
Give me one.
Slapshot.
Really, you think the scenes in Slapshot, the hockey scenes, are better than the hockey scenes in Miracle?
Better. You know what? Mighty Ducks 1 and 2 better
Oh my
hockey
God.
scenes.
Oh my god.
Tim's just mad the Americans won, I think.
I think so.
No.
You know what? We've waited long enough. Let's get into it. It's time for a Cust Corner mini.
Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. He's got the hottest takes with the highest stakes. He should be president of the United States, but it's Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner, hee 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 hee.
Tim, what happened to you this weekend?
It wasn't this weekend. It was Thursday, Friday. Anyway, I go to the grocery store to pick up some groceries because it's going to be a storm. And as I'm walking through the bakery section, I hear an older gentleman, who's probably in his 70s, talking very loudly to the fellow in the bakery section behind the counter saying, "That's an excellent deal you guys have on pies right now." And so I think, okay, I like pie. So I walk over to the table where the pies are. I look around and I see there's a mincemeat one. I haven't had a mincemeat in a while. So I'm going with this one. So I pick it up. I put it in my cart and I'm starting to walk towards some of the other baked goods. And I hear a voice booming saying, "What happened to my mincemeat pie?" And I sort of turned around and looked. And the guy said, "You took my mincemeat pie." I said, "It was just there on the table." Like, he said, "You took my pie." I said, "Well, your pie would be in your basket. And so he didn't like that. And I could see that there was a confrontation brewing. So I I moved briskly from where I was, and I hid in the aisles, like in various aisles, waiting for the old man to leave the grocery store or whatever, because I just didn't want to deal with the confrontation. And eventually I just got so stressed about it. It's like, I don't even want this pie anymore. And so I walked back over to the table. I put the pie back where I got it. And then I briskly paid for my items that I purchased, and I left.
I can't believe you didn't buy the pie after hiding in a grocery store from someone who was almost 80 years old.
First off, I'm the victim here.
You're not the victim. You're the bad guy in this situation. You stole an old man's pie.
That pie was not his.
You're a jerk and a pussy all in one.
How am I a jerk? Whose pie was it, Geoff? It was on the table still for anyone to purchase. Someone's allowed to just call dibs
stealing an old man's pie, and then you're a pussy for not even going home with it. The fact that neither you or the old man went home with this pie is a travesty. Like, and you ran to hide in aisles.
Well, I could see that he was going to be confrontational. I didn't want to be yelled at.
Were you scared that he was going to beat you up? I thought you were lifting.
No, I just didn't. I decided to flee from the circumstance. Look, it wasn't his pie. It was my pie.
But you didn't even want the pie, as you didn't even take it. You couldn't have given the old man a pie?
It was my pie.
Well, it's not your pie. You put it back.
Well, I did. And eventually I put it back. But look, it was there for anybody to take. A person doesn't get to see something at a table and call dibs from a mile away.
How far away was he? Because this has now been this has been in dispute.
I would say he was approximately between 10 and 20 feet away.
Okay, and when we interrogated you on this, when it happened, that shrunk down to like 4 feet pretty quickly.
Well, maybe I'm bad at judging those distances. Maybe he was closer than that. But you know what? It wouldn't matter if he was standing adjacent to the table. It was on the table. Anything at a grocery store on the shelf or on the table is fair game for anybody.
You heard him. You heard him asking the baker about the pie,
but not that specific pie. There's a ton of pies on that table. There only was one mincemeat one, but he never said anything about those types of pies. I just saw it and decided I wanted the mincemeat pie, and so it was fair game. I did nothing wrong. I put it in my basket, and then he has the gall to say, "You took my pie." It's like, well, if it was your pie, then you would have it in your basket. I was of a mind to say, well, let me show you where the mincemeat pie filling is if you want to make one for yourself. I didn't say that, but I felt like it. Like, that is totally out of line to say that to me. Like that, how dare a person say that to I would never dream of doing that, to accuse someone else of taking, quote unquote, their pie when it was out on the table. It's fair for anybody that once I put it in my hands, possession is 9/10 of the law. It's mine once I pick it up.
Your conviction of it being yours, you're steadfast in it. So why literally run to hide in
he raised his voice and he said, that's my pie. And
you already said, but he was talking loud enough about the pie sale that you could hear. Maybe he was just a loud talker.
Maybe he was a loud talker. I wasn't sticking around to interrogate. I was getting out of there.
What were you so scared of?
I don't know, but the flight or fight instinct kicked in and I decided to flee.
So when you didn't just run away, you ran away and spied on him?
Well, I just hung out in the aisles and
you'd peek out the corner of the aisle to see his status,
to see if anyone was going through the cashier lines to know if he was gone. And then eventually, after a few minutes, I was like, "This is foolish. I'm not going to be hiding out here." So I then decided, you know what? After all this, I no longer have an appetite for pie. I don't want it anymore. And so I walked back to the bakery section and I put that pie right back where I got it, and then purchased my items and left. I would be willing
to be on your side with this if you had bought the pie, because then really you wanted it. It's clear that he wanted it, but you didn't want it. You just took it from him.
Well, I did want it
you didn't want it. You obviously did not.
It was one of those things where I only bought it because I heard it being talked about. I picked it up because I heard it being talked about and was intrigued by it. But the whole idea of eating the pie had soured in my mind based on the confrontation. And so I put it back. I felt like that was the thing to do because And the thing is, I mentioned to I don't even like store crust, so I wouldn't even eat the crust. I would literally rip the crust off, throw it in the trash, and just eat the filling out with a spoon.
Then why didn't you just buy the filling?
Well, because they don't have the right fillings anymore. Like Sobeys uses the particular filling that I like usually.
How often are you eating mincemeat pie?
Not often enough, in my opinion.
Well, you could have been eating it like right now if you wanted to, but you brought it back.
I could have been. So I put it back because the whole idea of eating the pie just felt wrong now. It's like, I just don't want it anymore. I'm uninterested by it.
I think you, in some way, are the one who craved the controversy that you ran from.
No, I didn't.
You heard him talking about the pie. You went, you took the pie, and
but
then
there were
you go
several
running
pies.
around the store hiding, peeking on him.
There were a dozen pies on that table. How could I know the pie he wanted was the one I took? How could I have known that?
Now, you couldn't have spun it the other way. You seem like someone who would respect their elders. You couldn't have just given them the pie?
If she had said to me, my goodness, do you mind if I have that pie? I had been looking at it.
Who the fuck talks like that? No one talks like that.
But instead, it was an accusatory, I felt like accusational tone. I was like, and I got my back.
I'm sorry, main character Tim. Did you perceive something in only a way that you could perceive it?
Well, I'm the perceiver. I'm the one perceiving it. So yes, I perceived it in that sense.
Have you twisted it to fit this narrative now that it really wasn't his pie when it actually was?
It was not his pie. If it was his pie, he would have had it already in his basket. His pie. Pie.
I mean, he was the one who clearly knew about the pie sale. You didn't. You learned about it
so
from him.
What?
And then what did you like run over to get the pie?
I moved over right away. I was close enough. I moved right over to the pie.
Brisk as you ran away from him?
No, I moved with all celerity away from him. You can be sure of that.
Why are you so scared of a 70-year-old man? Was he bigger than you?
Which aisle did you stake out in?
I went down the cat food, dog food aisle initially, like that little cordoned off section. And then I moved to, I can't remember which other aisle I went to. It wasn't a freezer aisle, but then another aisle where I sort of like peered around the corners to see if he was going through the.
Yeah, you stuck him. What do they call that? A stakeout?
Well, not quite. This wasn't the sting. Like, it wasn't a stakeout, but like I was just, and then I decided this is crazy. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm in the right here. I'm just a normal customer who didn't do anything wrong. And I've been soured on the whole pie eating experience. I don't.
What did the baker think?
I don't know. He didn't say anything.
Maybe he would have said, I got a half dozen fresh minces coming out.
Well, maybe he should have asked his best friend, the baker he was chatting about, to get him another mincemeat pie instead of going and hectoring a poor customer who did nothing but take an item off a table that anybody could have taken.
If you were so in the right, why did you feel the need to run away and hide?
Because I just felt like I didn't want to be in the middle of a confrontation in the grocery store. I just didn't want that.
But you were the one who was giving him the lip.
Pie.
You were giving him the back talk.
Oh, I should just give him his way.
You don't want to be in the confrontation. You ran away. You could have just given him the pie. The thing is, to Pat's point, like, to me, the big story initially was that you ran away. But then when I found out you didn't even go home with the pie, I was so like, no. That's the headline here to me. Like, no one goes home with the pie.
Well, somebody would have bought it eventually. Maybe if the old man was still in the grocery store, he bought it. I don't know.
Were you worried that he was going to? Were you worried that he was going to be waiting outside for you in the parking lot?
Well, if he was, I could tell him, look, I don't even have the pie, old man. Like, go in and get it yourself.
You really hate this old man.
No, I got nothing against him. I just didn't understand why he had to make an accusatory tone towards me when he asked about a pie that wasn't his. Oh, I walked into the grocery store to get a can of chicken noodle soup. So all the cans there are prospectively mine, and don't you dare touch them until I get my soup. Is that the way things work now? People are allowed to just declare dibs in their mind and it's theirs? No.
That is nowhere near what happened.
Yeah, that's not what happened.
I'm not so sure there is a difference.
The rest of the world does feel like there's a huge difference here.
The man,
it honestly sounds like
get soup.
It sounds like you went to the store to yell at an old man. That's what this sounds like.
I went to the store to pick up things. I heard about the pie. I picked up a pie that
from the man.
No, not from him. Oh, yeah, I heard about it from him. Yeah. But it's not like if you go into somebody's cart or something, then that's obviously beyond the pale and unacceptable. But if it's just out there as merchandise anyone can pick up, it's just as much my right as anybody else's. And why should I back down?
Because you didn't even want it. The only thing that
You know
you
what?
wanted was to make
What
the
does
old
that
man
have to
feel
do with
bad.
anything?
But you just wanted to make
No.
him feel bad. He's an old man. Give him a fucking pie.
It's a matter of principle. It's mine.
But it's not yours. You didn't buy it.
But of my own free will, I decided not to buy it because I was
You're
so
lucky
soured on
he
the
didn't
series.
come at you with a cease and assist like Netflix.
All right. Yeah, that's really funny, Geoff. Yeah, okay. But multiple people reach out to me now saying, what's wrong with you? How could you fall for that? You're such a dummy. Yeah. Like that. Multiple people have reached out and told me that. And I was like, yeah, well, if you were in my shoes, you would have been doing the exact same thing. And you're like, oh, I wouldn't. I was like, yeah, you would have. Or probably would have.
Well, and
Been
Geoff, you should hear this at the very end of this Custy's panel show. Bronstetter tells a story about what Cust did to his grandma that you need to listen to.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, you got involved in his orbit.
I didn't get involved in anything.
Well, you got sucked into his orbit, and then all of a sudden, Bronstetter doesn't have a grandma anymore. As Aaron tells us, that, this is what happens when you interact with Tim. You never know what's going to happen. To harken back to our conversation before the show about why I don't want to bet on a golfer you picked.
I'm still annoyed by that. Like, if you liked Sam Burns, then you just go with
Do
him.
you really think I am the only person in the world who sees who you pick and then changes their pick if they were on the same side?
Yeah, but you should know better.
Why would I know better? I know better than anyone to change my pick. Why do you think I did it?
It's all a bunch. Again, I'm just the victim here, accused of things that I haven't done.
Oh yeah, hey, you're just a victim. You're the world's biggest victim. I see.
I didn't say that. But
you're a victim in every activity that you partake in.
Just in these two things in particular, at least.
At least.
I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong about the pie. It was mine if I wanted it. I'm sorry. It's a matter of principle. Whether I need it, whether I want it, none of that is applicable whatsoever. The only question is, whose was it by right? And it was mine.
I just
You don't even care about things on sale.
No, I don't. I just thought, ooh, pie.
So you were just...
I wasn't concerned about the price. I just buy things at the grocery store. But when the idea of pie was sort of like, there was an epiphany in my mind about, I wouldn't mind having some pie. And
you should have given it back and just gotten yourself
a
dessert
dessert. What do you mean
pie.
giving it back? That implies that he had it to begin with, which is not true. In fact, I did give it back. I put it back exactly where it came from, the table.
After you made sure that the guy was nowhere near there anymore.
Well, but that was coincidental. It wasn't like I was waiting for him to put the pie back.
Are you sure? Because you hid it in aisles to make sure that he wasn't around.
That's true. But it was on my way walking towards the cashier where I decided, you know what? I don't even want this godforsaken pie anymore. And I put it back.
I'm picturing your 40 video, and that's how you're running away from this old man.
Oh, I wasn't sprinting. I was like, I had my cart and I just moved quickly to somewhere else.
Okay, there's a part 2 of this, Geoff, that I haven't shared with you yet. You ready for this?
Please.
It doesn't involve Cust harassing the elderly at this point.
I didn't harass anybody. They harassed me.
Then you had to run and hide.
Pardon me?
And you had to go run and hide.
I didn't run. Moved quickly.
Well, isn't that running for you, moving quickly?
I de-escalated the situation.
Oh, okay. You're a real hero. So we had a huge ice storm here this weekend, Geoff. Did you know that it never occurred to Tim that he spent like how long did it take you to scrape the ice off your car?
Like 45 minutes, because it wasn't just like one layer of ice. It was like 2 or 3.
Now, I don't know if our friends in Texas or California or Florida or anywhere where it's warm all year round can really get on board with this. But anyone from the Northeast, Tim's Minnesota impression that he was doing a bit earlier, anyone in Canada, anywhere where it gets cold during the winter. Geoff, have you ever heard this little trick of turning on your car, letting the ice melt, and then scraping it off? Because Tim hadn't.
Not that I hadn't heard of it. It just didn't occur to me to do that. And so it took me longer. And I learned for the first time ever what those little pointy things on the backside of your scraper are for. I've never used them before.
What do you mean?
You know how like scrapers on the backside have like those little plastic prongs, like 3 little plastic prongs? Oftentimes scrapers have those.
Yes.
Yeah.
You use them to like break up the ice and like, so it makes it easier to scrape off. I'd never used them before.
We all know, Tim, we all know this besides you.
Okay, well, first you just premise this by saying, I don't know if our friends in Texas or California or Florida, so they don't know about this. I'm teaching them about it. And secondly, I'm not so sure everybody does.
I don't believe you.
I'd never used it before. I was out there and Dad said to me, you should use the other side of the scraper.
I don't believe
And I was
you.
like, I hadn't even occurred to me. I've never used that side of the scraper before. Usually because either my car's parked inside somewhere or we rarely have that much.
That's the side you use for the ice.
No, I've only ever
You've
used
been brushing ice?
Pardon me?
You brush ice?
No, not brush. On the back side of the scraper, there's like 3 little prongs that stick out that aren't the flat, sharp edge, but like are prongs.
Yeah, they dig into the ice. That's what they're there for.
Like make tiny little lines in the ice that you can then break through.
Yeah.
Not the brush side.
I still can't believe you didn't turn your car on. It took you 45 minutes to scrape the ice off your car.
The car thing is like the shower thing probably to Tim, though.
What?
Well, it would be a waste of gasoline and energy.
Like just turn his car being idle would be like the shower being on.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't be very environmentally friendly to leave that car idling for 30 minutes.
I mean, I do it, but I'm just saying Tim wouldn't.
Yeah, it hadn't occurred to me, but anyway, next time.
That's so ridiculous. That actually blew my mind more than you yelling at an old man.
Okay, well, like guilty as charged.
Oh, well, I guess now
I didn't know how to scrape correctly.
Or turn on your car to melt the ice.
It didn't occur to me. Okay.
But like, does this mean it's never occurred to you before in the 30 years that you've been alive?
No. I've done it before. Like if I'm leaving someone's house before and there's a little skim of snow or whatever, and you're sitting on the side of the road letting it defrost, but it just didn't occur to me that day to do so. In fact, I don't even know if I could have gotten the car door open. We had so much ice for that time.
Really? You don't think you could have opened your car door because it was like you were living on Hoth, were you? You couldn't open your car door?
I wasn't living on Hoth, just the ice. Door handles are just made of plastic, and I was very afraid of breaking my door handle.
But everyone else who went out to drive, that did you hear any reports of people breaking their door handles off?
And I wasn't even driving anywhere that day. It was just I wanted to get it done.
He's been lifting so much that he can now break door handles.
But he can't take a 75-year-old man.
I didn't say any of that. I just de-escalated a situation that I didn't want to get out of control or turn into a shouting match like a crazy person. I decided to be the bigger man and leave.
Runaway is how we're going to phrase this from now on.
Go ahead and say what you want. Like the people will agree with me that I did nothing wrong, and people will say, you know what, you did the right thing, Tim, by getting yourself out of that situation.
Remember,
I also feel like the panel show, you sort of going through highlighting, previewing the categories is a great propaganda vehicle for me.
well, we got to you too. Don't forget about that. You're in there.
Yeah, whatever.
You can vote in the Custy Awards and go through them right now in the description. Voting closes on February 28th. Geoff, how do you think you're doing against him right now? Are you prepared to win this year?
Sure. I'm always prepared.
I've heard where the votes sort of are stacking, and let's just say it's very close. But if the election were closed today, you might win, Geoff.
Well, how do you know what the votes are, Tim?
I trust that you're not lying to me. If you're lying, then you're lying. I can't control that. But I believe you to be telling the truth.
Okay. This is where we're at right now in terms of the voting. You can still 2 weeks to vote. Let's go do that. Let's talk props for the Super Bowl, because this is where really I want to get my money down. One I like off the hop, I like Cincinnati money line second half, Geoff.
Yeah, that seems like a bit of a popular theme, maybe to go along with most points in the second half. I guess that can correlate to a prop that I have, which is I like the Rams in the first half. They get off to those hot starts and they kind of have shown a way to give them back in a handful of cases. So I don't mind that at all. I expect the Rams to get off to a quality start in this game, hence my first half wager. And seeing Cincy win the second half, I mean, that seems right on game script for most.
And I did tail your bet for Super Bowl MVP, Geoff.
Which one?
Leonard Floyd.
Yeah, so I have bet, I mean, these aren't like my top props, although I don't have a ton, but I have bet Leonard Floyd MVP at 200 to 1. I've bet Jalen Ramsey 100 to 1. again, those go along the lines of the game script. You got to pick a lane. The same way when I bet a golf tournament, like, how do I see this playing out? I'm picking this lane, and now I'm going to bet golfers in that lane, that fit it. So if I see the game playing out like the Titans Bengals game in some respects, I think Joe Burrow, unlike Tannehill, has an ability to not let plays die. Tries to force one up to Chase. Jalen Ramsey, makes a couple big plays, hopefully. As for Leonard Floyd, only 3 sacks in the last 10 games. This is not, a guy on a prolific run right now, but you'll see the door open maybe for some other front 7 players to have monster performances in the lane that I have picked. Also clearly based on Aaron Donald being absolutely dominant. The best player in this football game is Aaron Donald. And there's honestly a definitive gap, as Tim would say, between Aaron Donald and the second best player in this football game.
I think that's true.
Like definitive.
I think that's well said.
All generational. Like, it's almost in some ways we talk him up, we acknowledge his greatness, but it's so expected that we don't even give him its due. He's not a quarterback. He's the best player on that football field. I'm just hoping his presence can lead to some other things. Well, you did mention the MVP market, though, Pat. I want to say I might invest in Cooper Kupp on the offensive side. In this theory that I kind of have, which is kind of gaining some steam in that, it's so obvious to think it's going to go to the quarterback. But in these voted on awards, you kind of think about some extra layers. In every sort of game where the Rams have won, it has been Cooper Kupp who has been the reason that this team has won, those games. It's the reason that they could be here. Cooper Kupp is not going to win league MVP. He might deserve it. I think in a tie,
he does not deserve
close situation.
By the way, he doesn't deserve league MVP.
Yes, he deserves it unanimously. He was the best.
No, I'm not. Okay, whatever.
He deserves it unanimously and might not get a vote. Yeah, good call, Tim.
You're right.
Okay, sorry. I want to take that back because you're right.
You're the same people who don't vote for pitchers for MVP even when pitchers are MVP.
Well, no.
You're wrong.
Let me just finish and then you can argue this. I mean, to Pat's point, I believe he doesn't deserve it, but there's a groundswell that the season he's had, that I think if it's a close game or people are deciding that they'll be like, well, he's not going to get a single MVP vote. We'll give him this. Stafford winning the game is essentially his lifetime achievement award. I actually am not quarterback or bust on the MVP, especially for the Rams. I think of the Bengals, Heisman, Super Bowl, MVP, national champion, like the whole check. It's very much like the easy box to check. You're going to want to make the guy, if Burrow wins the game, it's like NBA. We're going to be chasing the next Brady forever, friends. So Burrow wins this game, just like Mahomes trying to get to. Like, I'm not saying anyone's going to catch Brady at 7, but the next 20 years of our lives as football fans is probably going to be very reminiscent of the post-Jordan years, where every good player, quarterback, is going to be like, is he the next one? Will he be the next one? Burrow does it. We're like throwing gasoline on that, and that's the story people want to run with.
And I slightly disagree with that, only in that I believe the Bengals' best chance to win is if Matt Stafford ruins the game for them. I actually think that's the Bengals' path.
Okay, yeah. But
therefore, I think
the MVP, as they're so superior, the only way they win is the other team fucking up so horrible.
So superior. That's wrong. I totally agree that you're right that the Bengals, if they win, Joe Burrow has an excellent chance. But I do think there is a significant chance that if the Bengals were to win, it's because Stafford plays like Rich Gannon in the Super Bowl and throws 4 interceptions. And then you bring in people like Jesse Bates and some long odds on the defensive side for the Bengals that could totally
I don't mind anybody if they're telling me that if they see it like that, you want to have your Jesse Bates ticket, that's fine. I'm not picking long shot defenders on both sides. I just picked one.
I get it. No. I was just proposing a different approach to maybe thinking how one would think through the Bengals if they were to win.
Well, if you're going to go that way with the Bengals MVP long shot, I think you take Eli Apple, as weird as that
Sure.
sounds, because he's not good, which means they're going to attack him in the passing game, thus giving him more opportunity. I mean, he should have had a pick six to end the Chiefs game. He just dropped it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we know that guys are going to go try to attack him. All it takes is 2 bad Stafford passes. One's a pick six, the other one's a pick. He's MVP.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't mind your Cup to win MVP because I think the MVP odds are better. Because I just put together a 4-play same game parlay at DraftKings Sportsbook, which kind of gives you hitting each of the check marks that Cup would probably have to do to win MVP and parlaying those together. And the MVP 6-1 is way better than this plus 320 parlay. That would involve Cooper Kupp anytime touchdown, Rams win, Kupp over 119 receiving yards, Kupp over 8 catches. Like if he goes over all those, he's probably going to win MVP if the Rams win. So you're better off taking the MVP
many
than
situations. In so many situations, when we get to the Super Bowl, the quarterback is seen as the better player than the receiver. Hence, when they're close or tied, it's default quarterback. It's very rare that the receiver is seen by all as the better player, the player that did more for the team.
No, that's a good point as well.
So that is why I think Kupp could really, if the game plays out, like 90% of Rams wins have played out this year offensively, Cooper Kupp should win MVP of this game. And Matt Stafford should be satisfied by getting his lifetime achievement and winning the Super Bowl. But Cooper Kupp, for all we could debate the MVP merits, but there are people who believe there's some merit to that. I think he's an easy guy to give the MVP vote to if it's close, let alone the fact he could just earn it outright and it'll be a slam dunk.
So only 2 wide receivers have won Super Bowl MVP since Super Bowl 9.
I can think of 3 off the top of my head. Hines Ward,
Julian Edelman.
Antonio Holmes.
Oh, yes.
and,
Sorry, I missed this Antonio
Edelman.
Holmes. Yeah, I missed Antonio Holmes. That's correct. So 3 have won since Super Bowl 9. So have more corners won? Let's see. We got a linebacker. That's happened, twice in the past 8 years. Ray Lewis won Super Bowl
if it
MVP.
wasn't Tom Brady, White wins last year. Like 98. Well, anyone but an omnipresent quarterback figure adored by all wins that performance by White or David, whom I make you help me.
Yeah, although I think Fournette had a case for it last year too.
I think it was David.
Well,
One
it
of
was
those
like
guys,
shocked. James White had a legitimate case the year that the Patriots came back against the Falcons too, but Brady ended up throwing for almost 500 yards, so you have to give it to him. That's the problem.
Edelman could have even won that one.
Yeah, well, Edelman ended up winning it 2 years later.
The Rams.
Yeah, so that was the game. But I think that's a scenario that you need realistically. I think there's one of 2 ways a receiver can win this. One is that if it's an incredibly low-scoring game, like we saw Patriots and Rams, and there's just one guy who's uncoverable, which would be the case, a really good case for Cooper Kupp here, if they win like 14-10, but Cooper Kupp has 9 catches for 159 yards or something like that. He's going to end up winning. Or you have this Antonio Holmes thing where not only do you have a good game, you have the signature moment of that game as well, like the game-winning catch. Then stuff is going to shift to your way pretty easily, I think.
Yep, absolutely.
Running backs very rarely win this award, by the way. Do you know who the last running back to win the MVP of the Super Bowl was?
Marcus Allen.
Emmitt Smith won a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, he did win, but he was not the last one. It was Terrell Davis in the first Broncos.
That's right, the first Super Bowl.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's been a while, put it that way.
Yeah, nope, absolutely. It is tough for a running back to win. They've got to have a huge, like Timmy Smith type of day to do so.
Pat, the funniest part of Twitter, it's like I put out like 100 and 200 to 1 MVP pick, like clearly knowing how unlikely they are, and the people that are like, you're sort of like, there's no chance. Thanks, 200 to 1. All I'm saying is I'd rather Leonard Floyd at 200 than Von Miller at 35.
Yeah,
Von Miller at 35 is silly. That's all because he's already won a Super Bowl MVP and has looked half decent. But no, that's silly. There's no value in there.
Well, it's no different than when we talked about on the golf show this week that Spieth's odds this week are he has worse odds this week than he did a week ago. And now he's facing all the best players in the world. And he faced basically me, you, Tom, Hoagie, and Tim in a tournament last weekend. He was 22-1. Now he's 20-1 to win a tournament because the name
Yeah, I was
Jordan
supposed to be
Spieth.
real impressed by Jordan Spieth's performance against a bunch of nobodies. Okay.
I said it yesterday on the show that had Spieth even won, Tim would have just shot on it the same way he shot on his Valero win.
Well, who did he beat
almost
in that
acknowledged him as a no-win player in his attempt at a comeback.
Well, I'm sorry. See, I'm supposed to be real impressed when he doesn't beat anybody good other than Patrick Cantlay. Okay, all right, fine, like, whatever. I thought actually Brooks was the better analysis for this, and that Brooks won this last year. That's why he's 30-1 rather than what he should be, which is like 50-1.
Anyway, can I finish my fucking point before you guys completely derailed me?
Yes.
Do you know what my point was? Do you even remember what I was saying before you wanted to talk?
You were talking about Von Miller's odds to win the MVP.
Yes. So to correlate that with Jordan Spieth, coming off a good week, Jordan Spieth is now perceived by the public because he's Jordan Spieth. He's won 3 majors. I mean, had he have won last weekend, he would have joined Tiger, Jack, and someone else as the only person with like 15 wins below the age of 28 or something crazy like that. So the amount of winning he's done, he resonates with the public. And Von Miller is really the only player on the Rams defense. I mean, Aaron Donald, yes, but even to your casual viewer, like, you might know who Von Miller is. You might be able to recognize Von Miller and pick him out of a crowd. I doubt most people could do that with Aaron Donald.
I agree. Although I don't know if people could pick up Von Miller either.
He'd have to be wearing his glasses.
Yeah. He won Super Bowl MVP, but that was still a while. That was like 6 years ago. So I don't know. Sort of, but I still think he's sort of a nobody. Just the people who are betting this have seen him play decently in the playoffs and know he's won MVP before. So.
Yeah, he's there because of name value only. Because he is a name that people know. Because realistically, I mean, what has he done since he's been to the... I couldn't tell you if he's been good or bad since he's been on the Rams. Couldn't tell.
He's got a couple of sacks in big spots. That's all I can recall.
I mean, I like Geoff said, I'd rather take Leonard Floyd knowing that they're going to have to account for Von Miller. They're going to have to double team Aaron Donald. That all Floyd needs to do is have this be a low-scoring game, like sack Burrow on the 2-yard line, fall on the ball, then he's MVP.
Yeah. I mean, I hope, or it's an overwhelming defensive performance, but even Donald, like, would never consider betting a player for MVP as low as Aaron Donald, but I did have a moment. But to take a defensive player who isn't a crazy long shot is pretty crazy. Like, looking at the game historically, defensive players have won it at probably a higher rate than people want to give it credit for, but it's not the superstar defensive player. It's players set up by the superstars to have those moments. The Seattles, the Tampas. I could go back to like Dallas with, I think it was Larry Brown, and I'm sure there could be another one or two in between. But yeah, I don't know. I get it's like a 5%, 10% chance, but I think that's enough for me to try to hit, take a swing at a guy like Ramsey per se at 100.
Well, I'll say I think the MVP is going to be Stafford, but it's unbettable. But I think it's going to be Stafford.
Well, let's try to find a different way to bet Stafford then, because he's even money to win MVP going into this game, which makes sense. If the quarterback wins, I mean, if the Rams win, what's the likelihood that Stafford wins MVP? Like 80%?
Yeah, maybe a little lower than that for reasons that you and Geoff have put out. Maybe about 65%.
Okay, so if we go into DraftKingsSportsbook.com and try a same game parlay here, the first thing that would have to happen is the Rams win this game, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
So let's build ourselves a story here for Stafford MVP. See if we can get better than plus 100 on this. We go to passing props. How many yards do you think that he would have to throw for? Because we have different options here. We can go
350 minimum.
350 minimum?
Yeah, I think if he doesn't throw, 300 minimum. Under 300, I don't think he gets it. 300 minimum.
I mean, the last
over-under is like 284. So.
I know, but that hits my favorite, but it also connects with my favorite prop of the Super Bowl. So.
Okay, I don't think that he needs to throw for over 350 to win. The last 2 quarterbacks who have won this award have thrown for 201 and 286.
Okay, but both of those are name plays, right?
They are, but any quarterback in the Super Bowl is the name play.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
So
that's huge.
Well, how about we just do over 304.5 yards?
Sure. Yeah, I'm good with that.
So already, Rams win and Stafford over 304 passing yards pays plus 250. So we're already getting 2.5 times better odds on those two things occurring, which you would think would have to happen if that happens.
Absolutely. I like it a lot.
So that would be, I think, the better way to attack that. Like the MVP market is tough unless you're taking these super long shots that end up coming through. But I asked you guys to come up with your 5 favorite ones. Unless Jeff, you had any lean on first touchdown.
Yeah, I do have a lean. I'm just mesmerized.
Drew Sample.
Well, yeah, I'm a Drew Sample guy. I'm just mesmerized by my phone's just going nuts, and it's people sending me like Morency's feed, and I'm in love. I'll just tell you that.
Well, Morency, because Morency, if you go to Twitter right now, I tweeted it out and Jeff tweeted it out. Morency was on Pat McAfee. That's awesome.
Yeah. He's obviously doing the experience. He just tweeted out a football card, like a prism of himself.
Oh, what's the grade on it? Is it a game? Is it a
I'd
game?
love to get it graded.
Is it a game-worn Morency shirt that he's wearing?
No, but he's clearly bought some swag down there, as anyone, I guess, would. You guys can attest. You've been down there in the belly of
how about
all of it.
If we had to set the line at over under 0.5 pieces of merch Pat Mayo bought at the Super Bowl, what would you go over?
Under.
No, bigger,
under.
Bigger. Under such a lot there.
Yeah.
I only bought 2 things.
That's actually pretty good for you.
I bought a ball cap and a coffee mug. And then the rest I just got free swag that I took home with me. But I only bought 2 things.
Surprised there's not like a commemorative cola you still have.
No, there wasn't. I would have taken such a thing home.
Well,
okay, yeah. So back to first touchdown. Obviously, I love this market. It's the most degen thing I do at the Super Bowl because in some weird way, it's great male bonding. Me and my boys, we watch the games with forever. Like the group hugs, like literally the hugs that went on Jordy Nelson, or when Mahomes ran it in at like 18 or 20 to 1 a couple years ago. It's the best male bonding you can have. As my friend who doesn't even like football jokes, like he jokes all year that he's just hoping we can hug on Super Bowl because we all sort of get in on it together.
I have a real long shot pick. I don't really have a strong feel about it, but I have a long shot pick for first touchdown.
Go for it. Lay it.
You're going to laugh. I like Ben Skoranek.
Of course you do. He went to Notre Dame.
Just, he had that big drop 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I think he gets it right. That's where I would sprinkle, and you get really good odds on him. So
I actually tend to agree with Tim on this. I think I don't think he'd be my main bet for first touchdown, but if they've really, it feels like they know that the first touchdown market has become something that people love to bet on now, and they've made most of these numbers completely unbettable. He's like the only one with a shot, it feels like, who has like long shot odds. Like I was with you with Drew Sample because we don't know if Uzama is playing or not. He might play. I don't know. And even then, you could still probably bet Sample at the same time. But a guy who we don't even know if he's going to play, he's 16 to 1. His backup is 22 to 1. Like Sample should be like 40 to 1. Come on.
Trent Taylor is also very live. They like using him on the goal line or like short yardage passes. So I wouldn't mind taking a sprinkle on him for the Bengals either.
How many red zone targets and touches do you think that Trent Taylor had this year, Tim?
I don't know, but he caught a pivotal one in the AFC Championship game that seared into my brain.
All right, so Trent Taylor, first touchdown?
I like him. One of my 5 picks is actually Trent Taylor anytime scoring touchdown.
That's one of your 5 picks?
Yep. I really like it.
Trent Taylor had 2 catches this year.
I know, but they leaned on him in the AFC Championship game at a big spot, and that told me all I need to know. That if you're going to use it there in that spot, I think it was on the 2-point conversion, you're going to use him in a big spot in the Super Bowl too. You trust him enough. So I'm going with it.
All right. I mean, you got to pick a lane here. First touchdown. I mean, he's going to return. Does he return kickoffs or punts? I believe he returns punts for them. So he's 80 to 1.
He's live there too.
So that's the first of your. Any other guys besides Drew Sample here? Because I could see, honestly, I don't want to bet Beckham at 9 to 1, but I feel like he's going to score the first touchdown, Jeff.
All right, I'm pivoting off of Beckham. I will say it's a bet I'm not making, but I don't mind Cam Akers. Like to get 750 on the running back, like over 7 to 1 on the running back. the starting running back on the team, I think, is going to win the game. I don't think that's a bad number, especially, I'm sort of trying to comparatively compare this to a standard primetime game. And hopefully as the week goes on, we'll get bigger numbers, Pat. Like we could shop that Drew sample, find something better. But my favorite pick, the one that I am calling, will probably be my biggest, although I like your Skoranek call. It's Van Jefferson for me. It's Van Jefferson on the field. He's been a big red zone target guy for them. We're going to get the opportunity. I like Van Jefferson a lot for all the love that I think Beckham is getting in the markets, in all the markets, yards, everything sort of for this game. I'm going to be the guy with all the Van Jefferson, I feel. 18-1, going to have a Jordy Nelson moment down the sideline. I'm telling you, baby.
Are you playing any over props for him as well, like receiving yards or anything like that? Because he has been abysmal basically for 3 months now.
Yeah, he's kind of gotten lost. I'm more like also on the anytime Van Jefferson touchdown. And I haven't bet anything on the props, but as people keep staying away from him and flooding their bets elsewhere, yeah, give me Van. I'll be on that.
Okay. So Van Jefferson, 18-1 first touchdown. Tim, do you have a best bet?
You mean like of my 5 picks, which one do I like the best?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. It is over 95.5 total touchdown yardage in this football game. I love that. The Bengals secondary is problematic enough that I expect 1 to 2 reasonably lengthy touchdowns. And so I think we can get there without much trouble. So it's minus 105. You eat a little bit of vig, but it's over 95.5 yardage of touchdown yardage in the game. I like it a lot.
I'm going against this pretty much directly with one of my top 5 props, guys. I have, and it's hit 6 of the last 7 years, under longest touchdown, 42.5 yards. Now, maybe because Tom Brady played in so many Super Bowls, I guess, I don't know, he didn't attack deep or something, but yeah, so I see that hopefully differently than Tim.
Okay, so under 42.5 longest TD, but Tim has over 95.5 as total touchdown yardage. You better hope you guys don't get tackled at the 1 yard line.
No, that's right, but it brings interception return, touchdown, fumble return, kickoff returns into play too, so I like it a lot.
Do you think this game is going to be slow starting? Because I think it's going to be.
Yes, almost every Super Bowl seems to be these days. So yes, I would think that it will be.
So I'm going to have my 3 gold, silver, and bronze favorite props on the Cam and Rob show best bets, which I think is going to come out Thursday afternoon this week in conjunction with the DraftKings Showdown pick show that I'm doing with Justin and Cody Main. So I'm going to save most of my favorite ones for there. I do really like Joe Burrow over 2.5 rushing attempts, though.
Okay, that's reasonable. What's the price on that?
It is minus 105.
So I'll give a couple more of mine because they're connected. 2 unders on Jamar Chase. I'm fading Jamar Chase big time in the Super Bowl, which shouldn't be a surprise because I'm picking the Rams and going against the Bengals. So I've decided to sort of lean in on that and bet really heavily, or go against Jamar. Under 80.5 receiving yards and under 5.5 receptions. I think Ramsey takes him out of the game. And I think he doesn't have that many receiving yards. And I like under in both of those.
You've done something dangerous.
The one benefit,
Can I tell you what it is?
I was going to say the one benefit of Chase here, because you would think that Ramsey would lock him down, is they move Chase all around the formation. And Ramsey's not one to shadow anyone. He's going to stay on his side. So they can get Chase off of Ramsey if they want to.
They can, but then they'll just double him. I mean, the Rams are smart, and they've been preparing to shut down Chase for 2 weeks. And I don't think they're going to let him run roughshod.
I think in some ways, while you think your bets are connected and your vibe is playing off your feeling, in some ways they're very contradictory from a betting perspective, in my opinion, because you think it's going to be a very lopsided game. The Chase yards could be coming for free late. If the score is what you think it's going to be, you could lose that yardage prop just in the second half of the fourth quarter.
No, you make a very good point. And to your point, actually, in that Seahawks-Broncos game, Demaryius Thomas caught the most passes in a Super Bowl ever, and the Broncos scored 8 points. So, I mean, that is well taken. But I just think he's going to have a really down game. I'm fading him completely.
Looking at runthesims.com right now, and you can use runthesims.com promo code Mayo to get yourself the discount. What it does, it takes the simulation of the game 10,000 times, runs it, and you can look up these individual player props. They've been, I mean, ask our friend Bill, Tim. He cashed, what, like 8 of them in a row last week, just running the sims on them all, seeing what had the biggest advantage. This one doesn't have a huge advantage, but it does like the under of 80.5. It says it should hit around 53% of the time. So over under 8. I don't know, like once you factor in, I guess even if you factor in the -110, it's -110, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So even with the -110, it's a slightly good bet on the under, but the median outcome is 76 receiving yards. That feels like it's too close. That's too close for me. But if you're going with a theme, I kind of get that. The Burrow one, for me, the over 2.5 rushing attempts just kind of comes down to is this offensive line is not going to hold up. And yeah, Burrow's going to stand in there. He's going to take his sacks. But as we've seen in the past 2 games, that eventually, if the pocket collapses quick enough, he just runs right up the middle for 3 yards.
So I like both quarterbacks. I like over 2.5 for Burrow. And ironically, it sounds weird, I like 2.5 for Stafford. One being the team I think that wins the football game. I have the potential of the kneel downs also that's in play for Joe Burrow, but Stafford, who didn't run all year, did run in the last 2 games, and it's a Super Bowl, and I have no doubts if he sees space on a play, he'll go get it, and he'll even potentially John Elway helicopter himself. Like I've seen him do enough running in the last 2 games to think both of these numbers, Pat, Stafford and Burrow, are soft, that they should be at least 3 even, and you're hoping for 4. So I like both of them 2.5 over on the quarterback runs, both sides. And obviously you get the kneel, could win it in and of itself if you're lucky. But yeah.
I hadn't even considered that the kneel down counts as the rushing attempt. I only ever consider it in terms of like where my yardage is at. It's like, oh my God, is he going to lose 2 yards? And that happened. Remember that happened to me with Tua earlier this year, Tim? I had the over, he hit it, then he kneeled down and went under.
It happened famously at the end of Super Bowl 54 that the Mahomes under hit because he knelt away yardage.
That's true. Completely forgot. Like I said, completely forget about these things.
Stafford's is 5.5. And I do like that. Because I said I like the over 2.5 carries, and I think I prefer the carries than the 5.5 because of those end of game snaps.
I agree with Geoff. I don't want to deal with that nonsense at the end of games. I would rather have the attempts than the yards.
Stafford so far in the playoffs, 6 attempts, 4 attempts, 5 attempts, but it gets real
dicey. Oh my God.
It gets real dicey.
You don't think
it gets real dicey with the yardage is all I'm going to say. So that's why I like the attempts for this. Like 5 for 8, 4 for 6. He does have a rushing touchdown in 2 of the 3 games. So should we be looking at Stafford for first rushing touchdown? Because I'm not going to lie to you, Cam Akers has kind of looked terrible in the playoffs.
I'll tell you how you can get him involved, which is in one of my other very, very best bets.
Well, that could be Henderson if it's like 1st and goal from the 1 too.
No, but what I'm saying is like if it's Akers and they turn around and give him the ball and he's not looking so good. Is Henderson playing? Is he coming back?
I assume so. We have odds on him. So.
I saw somebody.
But there's also odds on Higbee. Is Higbee going to play?
Oh,
yeah, that's the thing. They're putting everyone up there to devalue the very top of the board. But let's say it's Akers who gets the first shot. Let's say he doesn't get in. Maybe Stafford sneaks it on second try.
Listen, I have no doubt that's in play. I have no doubt that Stafford and the coaches know, based on the running stats you said, I think he did have a 1-yard touchdown run already. Like, you get it. In the regular season, you don't want Stafford taking extra hits. You just don't do it. It's the Super Bowl. So 1st and goal from the half-yard line, a 3rd and goal, anything from the half-yard line, I agree. Stafford is probably as likely as any potential running back to just take it himself.
Matt Stafford, 40 to 1.
Didn't he fumble his carry and he recovered it? Wasn't that a long, annoying review?
Maybe. No, that was Akers.
In the playoffs?
Wasn't it? That was Akers, wasn't it? Fumbled against Tampa Bay.
He fumbled twice against Tampa. Once when his head was touching the ground, and another time.
Yeah, Stafford.
No, in the end zone.
Stafford 40 to 1 first touchdown. Stafford plus 650 anytime touchdown. He scored in 2 or 3 games so far this year or this play.
I like it. Like I'm out there. I think that Stafford has a fantastic Super Bowl. So I don't mind any pro Stafford prop at all.
So what's another one of your better bets here for props, Tim?
So I love this one, and I can't understand why I'm getting it. I mean, I understand why perhaps it's minus 140, but it's free money.
Oh god.
And this is the jersey number of the first player to score in the game, under 23 and a half. All the best players are there. I don't know how I don't win this.
Drew Sample?
I guess, but like I get Cup and I get Chase and I get both quarterbacks and I get Akers. And I mean,
Get Odell.
I get Odell. I get so.
But you get Van Jefferson too?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe so. No, I do. Yes, I get Van Jefferson.
Yeah, the only guys you don't get are Higbee, Uzama,
Mixon.
Sample, Mixon,
Boyd.
Henderson, Sony Michel, I think is 28.
Yes, he is.
What's Akers?
And you also don't get
23. So I get Akers. I get Swaronic, who I like.
I'm gonna bet this one.
I think it's the play. I think it's free money.
I don't know, but I mean, you don't think that T. Higgins could catch the first touchdown or Tyler Boyd could catch the first touchdown?
Yeah, okay, it could happen, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Okay, I like this prop, and then also having a T. Higgins first touchdown bet.
Yeah,
You can't lose.
It'd probably be
Can't
first touchdown. So it's under 23 and a half first touchdown is what you're saying?
That's correct.
What's T. Higgins 12-1 first touchdown? I mean, you got to fade 1, 2 of the top 6 guys on the board is who you have to fade. And really,
So that means 4 of the top 6 guys are in my column.
but you also then, like, once we start going down the list a little bit, you then have to fade like 7 of the top 11.
But I have all the good players on the team perceived as the better team who starts fast.
That's right, and I have some of the a couple of the good defensive guys who could score too. So you know what? I like it.
Okay.
I agree with Tim.
There's a reason it's juiced to minus 140.
Yeah, of course. Because I'm going to lose a bet and a half when it doesn't win.
But it'll win.
Geoff, you got any more?
So we mentioned the first half. We could just get into it. The number's been moving all over the place. I got a 4.5 with juice. I'll play the 5.5s out there. It was a losing bet last year because Mahomes could throw the ball when he was a nose hair from being sacked. But I mentioned how I feel the game playing out. Bengals versus Titans. So I'm taking over on the sacks. Whatever number they want to put. I'll take exotics too.
Where can I find that on DraftKings Sportsbook? DST props, over, under, exact. Oh, you can go exact total sacks in this game.
Yeah, I don't have that.
That sounds
sort of
dangerous,
ability.
and that sounds like playing bingo.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're all going to be playing like squares as well, aren't
It's like
we?
you cheer for sacks
Well,
all game, and then you have to cheer for them to stop.
Stop.
I don't
Stop.
like that. I don't like
Well,
doing
it's
that.
good to play when you're playing quarters, right? Like that's a good thing to bet on.
But again, like Burrow's not going to let plays die in the same way that well, he did, I guess, in the Titan game. He didn't have much of a choice.
Well, no, he was under duress for his lungs for 9 sacks, and yeah, I expect him to be sacked frequently in this game too.
Cincinnati
And
Rams
Stafford's not
over
mobile. They'll get theirs in the
Over
same way they put pressure on Mahomes.
over 5.5 minus 135 at DraftKings Sportsbook right now.
Yeah, the juice is just killer.
That's not terrible. Minus 135.
Yeah,
And you know
but-
what? I kind of like the juice. That means people are betting it, and it's a good bet.
Oh my god! What that?
Oh man.
And to that end, this is why I feel really good about tails.
To that end, that's
No,
why they can make
I-
fake Eiffel Towers in Vegas.
I have to interject here before you go on with why Tails is a good bet at minus 105. Please do not make this bet. Just don't do it. It makes absolutely no sense. And Tim's going to laugh, oh, Tails never fails and all this nonsense. You're paying money to flip a coin. If you bet on this, this means you have no friends. Because I can turn to a friend next to me and be like, $100 on a coin flip? Sure. And then I'm paying no vig. What are you people doing?
Maybe you also the same person who would never take banker in baccarat because of the 5%.
That's not true, but okay.
But you know why not? The 5% doesn't dissuade me.
Yeah, but the house has an advantage in baccarat. That's why they charge the 5% commission.
I understand. Okay.
No, I don't. Do you think that that Tails has some sort of advantage in a coin flip?
Yes, because it never fails.
You're
That-
paying.
it
You're
also-
paying
I-
You're paying 5 cents on the dollar for a fucking coin flip. If
But
you
it's
make this
Paying
bet,
5 cents
you
for a
are
guaranteed victory.
you are
Never
a
fails,
fucking
Pat.
moron if you make this bet. Like you're just you're not only you're beyond degenerate. You're awful at gambling and you have no friends. Think about
I
that.
wonder what the handle is.
It's a ton. It's a ton because people don't
Yeah,
understand
it's
VIG.
big.
They
It's
don't
big.
understand VIG whatsoever. Or there's a lot of lonely people in America.
Or it's literally like the part of the game where people are just like around the TV, like the start of the game. It's the same reason first touchdown is exciting. You know, I don't know. Anything at the start is exciting.
Yeah, but you couldn't turn to the person you're watching the game with and flip a coin for better odds. You'd want to wager on it on an online book at worse odds, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I don't have a comment. I'm not betting the coin toss.
I get it, but like tails is going to win. So, and I'm taking less vig on that than other bets where I also think it's going to win, but eating more juice.
Do you like that there's VIG on tails because it shows you that it's a favorite here?
No, because it's equal on both sides. I actually think that tails should be a slight favorite because tails never fails.
Is there any more profitable line that any sports book can put out than minus 105 on each side of a coin toss, Geoff?
Well, no, because like you said, people bet it.
That's what I'm saying. It is the most profitable bet. You almost can't.
I'd be curious to know
free.
not just the hand.
It's free money for the sports books.
Not only is it I'd be curious to see whether they get relatively equal weight on both sides.
I bet you they do.
I'd be curious. I'd be very curious.
I can look into that for you if you want to know before kickoff time. But
I-
please, for the love
I
of
do-
God,
I
if you're a viewer of this show, do not bet on the coin toss. I don't know. Go on Friender or something like that. Swipe right. Get yourself a friend to watch the game with. Flip a coin with them and just save the money. Please. It is illogical to do this. And I would feel very bad if you made this bet. It means that you're a psychopath.
That's strong. I would not say I would not agree with that last statement.
Well, you're a psychopath. You want to bet on this. So why would anyone listen to you on this?
Or just I think tails is going to win. So.
Now, is that every coin toss you think that tails is going to win?
I mean, I only ever pick tails. I believe coin tosses are much like whether to take or not take a card on 16 and playing blackjack. You do the same thing every time and you don't change it up. I always take tails.
So you can always take the same side of a 50-50 proposition, and you have to bet $105 to win $100 on it. It sounds like a good strategy.
Well, I just think tails is going to win. It's also a fun bet. Whatever.
It's also fun to flip a coin with someone.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Bring your money with you this weekend. We'll start flipping
I'll
coins.
have my quarters.
No, we're not doing quarters. We're flipping for $100 a shot. I know 4 other people there that will do that. You join with us.
That seems aggressive.
Well, it's gonna get aggressive. Wait till I already got the barbecue ordered. We got the drinks coming. By like 10 minutes into this game, we're gonna be and especially if one of our friends gets down, we're gonna be flipping coins for like $1,000 a pop here. That
is almost certain to happen.
Yeah, if he gets in the hole early, the stakes are going up. Boys. We need to flip more coins right now, okay? We need to flip more coins. $1,000, guys. You flip me a coin right now, okay? You want tails? No. I'll take heads. You take tails. $1,000, okay?
I can see it in my mind's eye.
And then you'll yell and have to run away from him, go hide in the bathroom or something like that to diffuse the situation. Correct?
All right. You think you're funny? That's fine.
Geoff, do you have any more?
Have any more? I like Johnny Hecker over 51.5 yards, longest punt.
Hecker, hardly knew
that guy just drains them, and they like to catch them. There's this new thing of the punters are so good, so players are almost coached to catch them at like the 6, 7, 8 yard line. When in the past, you always had to let those bounce. So I've no doubt this guy will send one. Over half the football field. That's what he does all the time.
What was the number?
51.5.
51.5. Is everyone going to be betting the Evan McPherson over whatever the longest field goal prop is?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Bengals like longer team field goal. I know, Geez, I don't want to burn that, but a friend of ours, told me he likes that one, and you'll talk to him later in the week.
I'm gonna guess it's not Cam.
No, it's not, but you're aware that I don't know, I've seen a lot of field goal props come up there. And a fun one that we always do, well, no, I'll save it for you guys because he gave it to me, so I'm not gonna say it. He'll use it as his top 3.
Have you seen any numbers for the anthem yet? Because it feels like that free money is gone.
I don't even know who sings it.
Okay, so I've seen a couple places, and I've seen the number get to crazy juice, and I guess that's weird because I've been assured that's all just speculation. But yeah, I am worried that it's gone. I'm trying to be very organized, Pat, to sort of try to have even the places that have it. Like I saw one place that has it. The limit is pretty low. So it's going to be frustrating. But I'm going to try to find out who has it so I'm ready to act when I have the information.
You need to act immediately on this once you get the information, because what's the window? Paul would know this better than anyone. Paul, what's the window? Like half an hour tops? Geoff gets good info, so wait for the Geoff info.
I'm just seeing the Morency Prism card now.
Yes, I am not seeing this line on DraftKings Sportsbook right now, but maybe there are other places that potentially have this number. Maybe there's multiple other places. And like Geoff said, you might want to have the deposit in now before the information gets released so you can act once you have the information. Because honest to God,
the sites that are going to have the line, I plan on having money in there so I can act quickly. But yeah, in some respects it feels like the jig is up, but I've also felt that every year, and in the end
it's not even close. It's a winner every year. I won so much money on this last year.
Post it in the end, they still post it, and I guess they take it sort of like the coin flip. There's just enough potential gen pop action, or at the end of the day they just look at the Super Bowl ledger and they just win so much money that they don't even care about a bet they got
the
on
buffet that they're having at the Super Bowl looks so good for breakfast.
It looked like the most run-of-the-mill. I mean, it looked good, but it looked like the most run-of-the-mill diner hash browns and bacon you could have.
Continental breakfast?
No, Continental's all cold stuff, Jeffrey. This is bacon, hash browns, eggs, pancakes, coffee. Man, that looks good.
You can get that 5 minutes delivered to your house, right?
Yeah, I know, but this is all free.
You're Tim Too Rich, not Tim Too Poor. What's it matter what it costs? You just went on about how you don't care what stuff costs at the grocery store.
I know. I still like free buffets, whatever. Anyway, folks, I certainly want to just put a period on this season by saying, for me, thank you for listening to our nonsense for 24 weeks, because without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do that. And the people who've reached out in the past on Twitter or online and said kind words or not kind words, I like you all the same. And so thank you for putting up with our silliness and our craziness. And whether you vote for Geoff or me or don't vote at all, thank you and enjoy the Super Bowl. I mean that, folks.
That's really weird. You would like people who insult you and people who are kind to you the same.
Well, just look, I don't discriminate. I think it's funny if this show gets you going to the point that you need to interact with us on Twitter, thank you.
I agree.
Even if you don't like me, I like you. And thank you for everybody for their time and attention, because it means a lot to me. This is a lot of fun for us. And you guys make it possible. And I mean that sincerely.
Well, now I feel much worse about yelling at you earlier in the show. That'll subside.
I already forgot you yelled at me.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's part of the dynamic.
Can I just mention a prop?
Oh, we still have one more I want to talk about, but yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm surprised, and I guess it's something I don't look at, I guess, for primetime games, and I just assume, maybe being a Charger fan, it happens everywhere now, but the odds on will a 2-point conversion be attempted, and the even bonus juice back on will it be a successful 2-point conversion, are a lot higher than I assume they would be when it feels like, isn't that just commonplace now at some point in the game?
I would think with these two teams, yes, in particular, younger coaches who, yeah, I think that's probably a reasonable bet. I don't know if I'd bet the successful one because, like, I don't need to deal with that nonsense.
Yeah, I agree. I'm more
take the
into the
attempt.
conservative.
I would just take the attempt. Yeah.
I agree. And you see a penalty on the kick, and they take the 5 yards and they go and attempt the onside.
Well, that's what the Titans. The Titans tried to
No,
do.
that seems to be an auto thing now in football. Like, if you get that half yardage, it makes the green go like analytics guy, like go, go, go. Like, this is a go zone now. The moment you get that half the distance positive.
I'm trying to find the lines, and now they seem to be gone. That's not good.
I'll look too. It's been everywhere, and it just pays more. I think it was like plus money for even the attempt.
Really? Well, now I'm trying to find. I was trying to find the halftime show. Are you excited for the halftime show, Geoff? Because as it came out, Cust didn't know who any of these people were.
Not that I didn't know who they were.
Maven of pop culture.
I didn't say I didn't know who they
self-proclaimed.
were. I know the names of many of them. I just don't know their music.
Same guy that said that Macklemore was a top 5 rapper of all time.
Yeah, he's busy there at Pebble Beach being interviewed in prime time, but he's not a bigger celebrity or anything.
Oh yeah, I mean that's really the pinnacle of hip hop culture, being interviewed on a CBS broadcast during a golf event.
I thought it was really cool. No, I mean, I don't know Lamar
Is
Kendrick.
there even a single B-list celebrity at Pebble Beach?
No, Bill Murray?
Bill
Yeah,
Murray's
he's-
a celebrity.
I don't
Yeah,
think that
Bill
Bill Murray is an
Murray's a big
A-list.
celebrity.
I don't think he's an A-list celebrity at this point of his life.
I think he still is.
You also think that Macklemore is a top 5 rapper ever.
Well, I mean, I have said that, and
Yeah,
then I was told that no one even knows who he is. And so,
I mean, considering
who-
in this halftime show you have Eminem, Dr. Dre, and Snoop Dogg, that's going to be tough. Tough scene for old Macklemore.
Look, I know a lot of people are excited for it. I'm not, but I know a lot of people are.
Did you also say Lamar Kendricks? Is that what you just
I
said?
can never remember if it's Lamar Kendricks or Kendricks Lamar. I'm sorry, I can never remember. I don't know his music. I'm sorry, I don't know it.
I mean, you say you are the maven of pop culture, right?
Well, this stuff was all popular back in like 2002, 2003, right? Isn't that the demographic?
Oh, absolutely.
For-
But shouldn't you know that if you're the
Well,
maven
but
of
in
pop culture?
2022, these are not the songs that one hears on the radio. So
Yeah, but you constantly bring up things to us from like 1968 as like everyone knows this, but you don't know the most popular music from the late 90s and early aughts?
feels like things were more famous back then.
You
And
weren't
now
even
more
alive back then. It was like 30 years
That's
before you
how
were
famous
born.
it was.
I mean,
That's how famous.
Is it that how famous it was, or is that just what you watched when you were like 5 years old?
That's how famous George Burns was, that he could have been alive back then and I still knew who he was.
It just sounds like you again. We actually we had a pretty in-depth breakdown of most Cust impression, Geoff, on this. Why can't I find this? Didn't our friend send us the odds on what the first song would be? I swear I was looking at this earlier.
Yeah, I have no.
Oh, there it is.
No idea.
Here it is, Geoff. You ready for this?
Yep.
The favorite right now to be the halftime show is California Love is plus 220. The next episode is plus 275. Family Affair is plus 450. But I guess it really depends if someone has insight to how this is going to go. You have to think that Still DRE and you hear like the is the first like music that you hear, right? Like they're not coming out right away and doing California Love. That can't be the case. Like,
Honestly said, never heard any of these songs.
That's impossible.
Never heard of them. Never heard of them.
It's impossible. You are how old are you? 33?
34. I mean, if I've heard them, then I have no recollection. I don't know what they're called, and I didn't know that I knew them. Put it that way. Like if they were played at a Much Music video dance, maybe I heard them, but I have no memory of it.
Does that seem far-fetched, Geoff?
Yeah, it's almost hard to believe. In
Jeff
some
is busy
respects.
on his phone looking up odds.
Yeah, I can't find the 2-point conversion odds. It should be everywhere.
The sites don't make it the easiest to search anymore either. I'll look for them here. 2-point conversion. And I got team to score, point conversion. Successful 2-point conversion. I don't know where it went now. It's gone. Well, this has devolved into nothing. We should probably get out of here. But
Okay.
Geoff, do you have any take on the song, the first song, or no?
No. I got no clue. I don't do halftime. I'm outside getting air.
This is the first halftime I think in my lifetime I'm excited for.
I still, even though it resonates to me, I still don't care, to be honest.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm hearing big things. I mean, I'm now old enough to be in the demographic where the Super Bowl would want to put in performers that I would care about into the game. So that's nice. So I got like 20
Isn't that in some way depressing?
No, I'm okay with it. I got 20 years of this before I don't know who anyone is anymore.
I know. And what's next? Soon the commercials they show during golf are directly related to you, like some pill to help you piss.
That'd be great. Did I piss less? I piss too long. Can I have a pill that speeds up my piss? Like instead of like 3 minutes in the morning, it's like a minute. I could deal with that. The worst part about getting old, long pisses in the morning. The worst.
All right, then.
But do you not
This
piss?
makes you uncomfortable?
Yes, it does. I
does-
don't want to talk
How does that make you uncomfortable?
because
You're
that's
such a prude.
subjects I don't like to discuss.
There's nothing even prudish about that. Everyone wakes up in the morning and goes and takes a
Yes,
piss.
I just don't like to discuss bathroom stuff. Okay,
Is it
Let's
just because you like getting pissed on so much?
that's absolutely terrible?
And you don't want that to come out?
That's terrible. Just terrible.
Why is
I
that
don't
terrible? What if
Like
people
Trump, right?
Yeah,
Oh, look! I don't judge people.
It sounds. You just called it terrible. It sounds like you're judging.
Because I don't want to discuss it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. But I'm not saying everybody else needs to feel the way I do. It's just I feel this way.
Well, when was
Let's
the
just not talk about bathroom humor.
when was the last time you got a golden shower?
Never.
Well,
Absolutely.
Then how do you know if you like it or not?
It's like that line from Pulp Fiction where he said like rap might taste like pumpkin pie, but I'm never going to know.
Maybe you should try it. Maybe that's something to put on your to-do list for 2020.
Absolutely. All right, let's wrap this up, please. Let's wrap this up, please.
Just
You're
get
making me
a,
feel
just
very
get a fucking
uncomfortable. Let's wrap
full,
this up.
just get a fucking full stream right in your eyes.
No, it's good. Good gracious. Let's wrap this up. Okay.
Maybe a little bit goes up your nose, maybe some in your
Ah!
mouth.
Ah! Ah! No, good Lord, no.
Okay, you can wear goggles. It's okay.
All right, folks. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
And look, unlike your showers, at least it would just be warm right away instead of being cold then warm. So that's a positive.
God forbid, you're not opposed to wasting water. I know.
You take 3 showers a day.
Not every day, not in the winter. It's usually just 2 in the winter.
And you were the ones wasting water for letting it heat up for 2 seconds.
It takes like 10 seconds, but anyway.
So do you think that... So is your second shower 10 seconds long? How long is your average shower?
It depends.
Is it because you're getting pissed on?
Oh, good God. Okay. Goodbye, people. I got me rattled.
All right, well, that was... Tim Undercust,
Tim Andergust.
Not my name.
king of the
Okay.
golden shower.
Oh, please, no.
Bring it on.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Tim, next year you'll be in Glendale with Gabe and Cam waiting for the Jets, right?
Well, no, because the Chargers are going to be there. Apparently, you're allowed to make claims like that on Twitter, and it's not funny. And I was like, oh, but I make a claim like that, and everybody laughs and has a field day. Jeff says it.
Well, one team is 25-1 to win the Super Bowl. The other team is 200-1 to win the Super Bowl.
Well, the team that was 200-1 to win the Super Bowl is currently in the Super Bowl.
So wouldn't you say that would make it more unlikely that another 200-1 team would do that?
That's the gambler's fallacy.
No, I mean just based on pure probability.
One season has no effect on the next. So
yeah, but now you're saying that it could happen because it just happened.
It could happen. I'm just saying Jeff's out there proclaiming that a quarterback who's so good he hasn't got to the playoffs yet is going to the Super Bowl.
I didn't say that. I didn't say
They're
that at
going to
all.
the Super Bowl. You said they're going to the Super Bowl.
I said I'm dreaming. Like that's a dream
And that's
scenario.
fine. When I say I dream about these things, you're on it like a hawk. So I just
No, you say they're going 12-4, like before it happens.
I think what you're doing, what I'm doing, are just a difference of degree.
Oh, here we go. I got a promo for everyone out there right now. Breaking news on the show. You guys ready for this?
Sure.
Use code MMNNFL at prizepicks.com and enter $5 or more on Super Bowl, and Prize Picks will hook you up with $100 if Burrow throws for more than 1 yard in the game. New users only. So if you go to prizepicks.com, deposit with code MMNNFL, you make at least a $5 entry. If Burrow throws for more than a yard, you're going to win $100. So I would go do that. That sounds like a pretty good promo. Even you could figure that out, Tim. You can get someone to do that for you.
Exactly. It's a good promo.
Jeff, you're not a new user because we played in the props pool, but it's pretty
No,
good.
but
promo.
I'll take advantage. I love they're going to hand out free squares during the Super Bowl.
Oh,
so
yeah.
sign me up.
Yeah, that's why you got to get on there. So code MMNNFL at prizepicks.com. Go check that out. All right, Jeff. You're going to be on the show every Monday. Oh, what I wanted to say is for Phoenix next year, is that where the Super Bowl is?
Yeah.
It's in Glendale next year. Yeah.
All right, so I think that DraftKings is open. They have a bar on the 16th hole at TPC Scottsdale. I think they're opening a retail sports book at TPC Scottsdale as well, and there's going to be a studio in there. I have made the pitch for us to go that week and do all the shows that week from the golf course, which would then coincide with the Super Bowl.
Seems like it's a perfect combination.
I was supposed to. Never mind.
You're supposed to what?
Glendale owes me an appearance.
Okay.
Could have been Rivers versus Eli. Instead, Brady had to lose his perfect season. Because Rodney Harrison, nicknamed the Hitman, can't separate a ball from a guy's helmet. You're not allowed to be called the Hitman anymore once you gave up that catch. I hope he knows that.
Someday you'll get over it.
Gave Eli a Super Bowl. It cost Junior a Super Bowl. It's a really, really upsetting night.
Okay, that will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Geoff Fienberg at GFienberg17. Catch him every Monday on the Pat Mayo Experience. We will get together in 2 weeks' time to do, like I said, a review of the win totals, our predictions, whatever the latest news is, just to keep the show going a little bit. Then we're probably going to take a month off until the schedule release comes out. So thanks, as Tim said, thanks for being with us all year. This was by far our most popular show. We got around between the video and the audio, I think we ended up averaging something like 145,000 people per show, which is a completely insane number. The highest it's ever been for the Pat Mayo Experience. And this is year 10 of the Pat Mayo Experience. So I'm glad to see people are telling friends, people are going through it. We do really appreciate it. I mean, it sounds like we all hate each other, but in fact, we do not all hate each other, as it turns out. So thank you for tuning in with us. Smash the like, rate, and review on the way out. PrizePicks.com, code MMNNFL to take advantage of that Joe Burrow over under 1 yard passing prop. Do it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience.
Tempted.
Look, if you think Sam Burns is going to win, just stick with your bet. I don't understand this whole, well, I can't be any part of this nonsense. If you think he's going to win, bet him.
Well, I had bet him, but then I unbet
Then you
him.
should have kept the bet.
Why?
That's because I can't friggin' control anything.
Well, I disagree.
Well, that's just foolish superstition. Foolish.
No, we'll see you on Sunday, I suppose.
Well, no, we won't see on Sunday because it won't matter whether he wins or loses. If he wins, you'll say, well, you get one right every 1,000 times. So I guess that doesn't prove anything. And if I get it wrong, it's like, well, I knew all along there was going to occur. So there's no win here.
Well, you haven't picked a winner in our one and done in 3 years.
Well, yeah, I picked Hideki at the player, but you don't count that.
Well, he didn't win.
As far as I'm concerned, he did. I picked Adam Long the year that he won.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. What are you talking about?
That's how I remember it.
You didn't know. You didn't know who he
That
was
long
until
at the start of a playoff.
You sound fiery today.
I am fiery.
You picked Long at the start of a playoff.
I think it was on the back nine, not even the start of the playoff.
No, that's not how it happened.
No, maybe he was on 18 is when you picked him.
Anyway, my point is, and it stands, that, well, I picked Rory to win the players too.
That was 3 years ago.
Not quite.
That
The
was your
point is
last
that-
win.
And it still stands that if you think Burns is going to win, you should just bet him. I can't control anything. That's such foolishness. Oh, I don't want to be any part of that. Well, yeah, you should be part of that because you think it's a good bet.
Well,
No.
didn't somebody do a poll the worst like golf mushes, and it was you and Sobel and
Well, I don't know. Maybe they did, but you know what? Like, I don't get any credit for being a big game hunter and nailing all kinds of stuff. But
Like, well,
you know,
hold
wrong.
on,
It's always
hold
my
on,
fault.
hold on. You picked Rory to win the Players 3 years ago. What else did you get right?
I've had multiple second place picks in majors, multiple.
But you just said you don't get any credit for picking winners.
I don't get any credit in general. Just criticism. No credit for ever being right. Just criticism for being wrong.
But you weren't right.
hold on. What happened in the lead up to you signing in here?
Nothing. I'm just in one of those moods, I guess. Went to the grocery store today on lunch, and they had no DC left. That slot was just empty.
So you're just triggered?
So I had to buy a case of Coke Zero, which is fine. It's not what I wanted. I assume the Super Bowl party is BYODC.
Yes, it is. BYODC. That is correct.
Okay.
The food will
If I
be
can
there.
find any.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's sold out. Maybe they stopped making it.
I think, well, they had the bottles of it. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there.
I'm surprised you weren't driving around town looking for the
No,
guy
I was on
who
a
fills the shelves.
I was on a lunch break. I'm a working man.
You were
Hasn't stopped you before from hitting up numerous
McDonald's.
off.
locations for no reason.
Yeah, when I'm off. And again, it's not for no reason. I have a reason for everything I'm doing, Geoff.
Yeah, Geoff. All
Can't
right.
you just get DC at your favorite store, 7-Eleven, on your way home?
You mean, no, I can't. It's not near me now.
There is an Irving near you.
There is, but I wasn't stopping at the Irving, and I have to make 2 stops, and I don't like making multiple stops in a trip if I can avoid it.
You're literally like my mother-in-law. Like, just no, won't. Yeah, never mind. This should be fun.
Experience!